In this presentation, you will see the course of events leading up to an accident involving a load carrier. We will also look at what we can do to avoid this kind of accident in the future. A container is sent in from Tordenskjold. Heavy drill bits and crossovers are loose and rolling around, unsecured, on top in the container. Luckily, no one was injured when the container was opened. A few weeks later, there is a similar incident. A container is opened on land. This time, there is also an unsecured load on the top rack. There is a heater and a slip joint that, together, weigh 700 kilograms. The slip joint alone weighs 400 kilograms. These are examples of unwanted incidents in conjunction with load carriers. Now, let's take a closer look at the incident involving the slip joint. How can this kind of near accident happen? What are the reasons behind it? Let's take a look at some of the causes. These are based on the actual investigation reports. Here, we can see that the slip joint and the heater are placed at the top of the container because the bottom is full. The slip joint is set on its edge because the smallest part is the heaviest. The materials man on watch is unsure of how to secure it. He asks the deck operator to make sure that the slip joint is properly secured before send-off. The deck operator passes the message on to the banksman, asking him to perform the job. The banksman considers the slip joint to be adequately secured. He secures the slip joint and the heater by fastening them together with a tension strap. The strap is fastened to the back corners of the container. As the supply ship is being loaded, the container is handled so roughly that the heater falls over, resulting in slack in the tension strap. During the voyage back to land, in rough seas, the slip joint moves around due to the slack tension strap. When the container is received at the base, the tension strap prevents the slip joint from falling out when the door is opened. This incident could have been avoided if the objects had been properly secured during loading. Let's consider what we have to do to avoid this kind of incident in the future. How would you have arranged the load in the container? The slip joint is so heavy that it must be placed at the bottom, making it as easy as possible to unload. In this instance, an open load carrier would have been ideal. However, who should secure the load can be unclear. What do you think is the proper procedure in situations like this? The slinger is responsible for securing the load. When the slinger has secured the load, he or she signs a label indicating that the load is secure. How should the load be secured? Drag the various securing means to the correct place in the container. The slip joint and the heater should have been individually fastened with straps. In addition, Euro pallets should have been used to protect the objects and keep them from moving around. If there is room in the container, the heater can be secured in the basket at the top. The slip joint can be strapped and secured at the bottom. When objects are secured properly, loading and transport is unproblematic. Then, the container would have arrived with the load secured and correctly arranged. When receiving a container, it is nevertheless important to open one door first while standing in front of the door that is still closed. Here is a summary of the most important things to remember when securing load carriers. Heavy loads should be positioned as low as possible in the container. Arrange the load so it is easy and safe for the receiver to unload. The load should be secured to keep it from shifting. Use a safety net to keep the load from falling out. The label on the load carrier shall indicate the correct destination and have a signature indicating that the load has been properly secured in the load carrier. This is in accordance with the NORSUC standard. Our work is never so important, nor so urgent, that we don't have time to do it safely.